Hello friends, welcome back to the factory. Today, I am showing you a short tutorial on a technique I recently used on one of my commissioned dolls. I'll show you how I make gradients of color in yarn hair, like on my Harley doll. This is a very easy technique that doesn't require anything expensive, and I hope this will be useful to you. I was inspired by my friend over at Dolly Mixtures for that. She used an alcohol-based marker blender with pastels to ombre air wefts in one of her repaint tutorials, the Spider-Gwen one. First thing, I'll show you a bit how I make hair out of yarn. I use this one here, and it's super affordable and a very decent quality. I buy it in a off-brand dollar store that is in my neighborhood. The important thing with yarn is to have it, fluffy enough so you can brush it. Acrylics are very good for that, and that's what I usually use. But more and more artists will go for natural fibers like mohair, but they do not behave the same, so for this technique I highly suggest 100% acrylic. I cut my pieces to approximately 20 cm long strands. There's a limit about how long you can go with yarn, because it's tiny fibers all put together. Going longer than that is not recommended usually, because it might end up breaking and shortening too much while you brush it out. I do unravel my yarn when I can, but this is an optional step. It just makes it easier to brush, and I feel like I lose a bit less thickness while doing this. I do not use a pet brush because I do not own any for that purpose. I use an older brush of mine that has seen better days. It has stiff yet springy bristles, and I brush starting with the ends. Once it's all nice and fluffy, past the ramen noodle stage, you can iron it flat. I use an old hair straightener of mine. Now that we have hair, let's color it. You will need soft pastels and rubbing alcohol. Mine is 70%. You also need brushes. I use makeup brushes because I have a lot of them, but any would do, but I'd suggest one super fluffy and one more dense. First, reduce a bit of pastels to powder. Then, with the fluffy brush, I apply the first layer of color on the yarn, dry. I use the fluffy brush to disperse it well so I can work a gradient, blending the blue into the base color. Then I use the denser brush to set it with some alcohol. The brush I use here is clean so it doesn't make patches of color. I use the same brush that's still wet to apply more color at the bottom for more intensity. I work on it slowly, turning the yarn over, making sure to blend and disperse the color everywhere. Working with more than one tone can give more depth to the color buildup. Once it's done, let it dry completely. After it's fully dry, you can iron it again with no damage. The hair is fluffy and shiny, the same as it was before, and it does not feel powdery, and you can see here there's barely any pigment transfer on my hands or on my flat iron from the dry hair. You can then style it, curl it, like you would usually do. I used that technique on my Harley Quinn doll, and I curled her hair using the hot metal chopsticks technique, and it's holding well. I've also had the doll in my studio for about a month, and I had no color fade out. I hope this was useful to you, and if you wish to see more mini tutorials like this one, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay very safe. Bye!